Um, if you're seeing the deck and hopefully not my notes. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. Well, I'm so excited that you all are joining us. Thank you so much to Inbal for inviting me on to chat with you today all about SEO, why I'm obsessed with it, and getting into the 3 steps to creating passive revenue from your blog or website using SEO. And I know it was super helpful to get some intros from all of you at the beginning. It sounds like some of you are focused on blogging and content creation. Some of you have other businesses, whether it's a physical product, a service that you provide. But for the purposes of today's masterclass, when I say blogger or content creator, we are all content creators. I think that you all know that. I know one of you mentioned you have a skincare line, like you for sure are creating content around your incredible products and the before and afters, and reaching new people through your content. And so I am going to dive right in. But as we're kind of going through this, I really want you to open your minds to this area of opportunity for your business, even if you haven't necessarily thought of yourself as a content creator before. So as we get in, I'd love to just hear from you in the chat. What brought you here today? Why are you interested in learning more about SEO? And where are you tuning in from? I saw someone else is from California. I hope that you are surviving the heat. We are melting over here. I've got my AC blowing and hopefully the power doesn't go out on me today. Okay, great. We want more traffic to our blog. It always seems confusing and a lot of moving parts. You have so many great posts, but nobody sees them, says Stacy. Yeah, absolutely. Mia's melting in California too. Need to pay more attention to SEO from Tyler. Yep, more traffic from Mia. Redoing your website, Jessica. Amazing. Okay, awesome. This is so great. And as people are chiming in, I also just want to thank you all for taking the time to join, because I know that your business is your baby, whether it's your full-time gig or your side hustle. So I just feel really honored that you're here today. You raised your hand and Bal has invited me in to chat with all of you. And I'm excited that you've all self-selected and taking this first step to creating more of that recurring revenue for yourself, giving yourself more financial time and freedom. So here's to you and your growth mindset. And I'm excited to dive in with you because I love helping women make more money. It is truly a passion of mine, and I'm really outspoken about it. So whether that is sharing negotiation tips, talking about rates, sharing my business's income reports on my podcast, because when women make more money, they have more choices, more power. Studies have shown that they enrich their communities more. So that's why I'm so passionate about helping women make more money in general. And if you are a dude and joining, you are welcome here as well. There's room for all of us. So yeah, I loved what everyone was saying in the chat. Okay, Char wants to rank higher on Google. Love making more revenue. I love making money, so we're a good fit. I love it. I love when women aren't afraid or guilty or ashamed to say, I like making money and I like doing things that help other people. So amazing. We are in the right place. Yes, dropping some dollar signs. I love it. So you are in the right place if you struggle with monetizing your blog or website. If you have been feeling overwhelmed, like there aren't enough hours in the day, maybe stretched too thin. If you have wanted to create passive income that continues to make you money while you're sleeping. And if you've been feeling burnt out and want to get off that hamster wheel of sponsored brand campaigns, constant content creation, shooting reels and TikToks, we will get into that in a minute. I'm so over reels and video and TikTok. And you're going to walk away from the end of this masterclass knowing exactly how to create recurring revenue through your website using SEO. Okay, quick pause, because I know that when I said SEO for some of you, maybe your eyes glazed over, maybe you just opened up a new tab in your browser, maybe you're scrolling Instagram. Come back to me because you are not going to want to miss this. I'm going to show you why SEO is super freaking sexy and then let you in on some juicy secrets. So first, I'm curious, and some of you have kind of already touched on this in the chat already, but what comes to mind when you think of SEO? Type it in the chat. Let me know what is one word or feeling that comes to mind when you hear SEO.
Elise, I want to ask you a question. If somebody has a question or like Tabitha's raising her hand, how do you want to kind of address that? Do you want me to chime in, or do you want to kind of like wait for a pause? What do you like?
I was planning on saving time for Q&A at the end, if that works.
Yep, perfect. That works for me.
Okay, awesome. So people are saying technical keywords, organic rankings, keywords, difficult, complicated, complex, expensive, Google. Yeah, definitely. So a lot of these kind of like negative feelings of like complicated, expensive, difficult, technical, that is super, super common when it comes to people thinking about SEO. But my big promise to you is that at the end of this workshop, you'll walk away feeling completely different about SEO. And I'm going to hold myself accountable to this, and I'll ask you at the end how you are feeling about it. So a quick intro about me, my story. I'm the writer and founder of What the Fab. It's a travel and lifestyle blog, and I've been blogging since 2012. Started as my side hustle. I also used to work full-time at Google, where I did branding and events. And so I was juggling both. And then in January 2019, I took the leap, left Google, and turned my blog into my full-time business. It has been a wild ride, super exciting, and I haven't looked back. And since then, I've turned my blog into a multi-six-figure media company. And so I get to travel the world, work with brands that I love, and I've been able to really diversify my revenue streams, largely in thanks to SEO. So what we're going to cover today, first, I want to, again, kind of open your minds to SEO, why it's so sexy, why I'm obsessed with it. And here's a hint, it has to do with making me money while I sleep. We are going to talk about the 3 biggest mistakes that I see people making with SEO. I've worked with a lot of content creators on their SEO strategy, and these 3 mistakes are what's costing them thousands of dollars a month. And then we're going to get into the 4 steps to SEO success. So we're going to cover super simple tech setup. Once you do it, your site is set for life. You set it and forget it. We will cover keyword research, which is going to allow you to target the right keywords that actually drive traffic to your site. We're going to cover optimization. So these are the game-changing tips that grow your traffic, and it's not just popping something into Yoast. And then we'll talk about monetization. So how I've monetized my site with SEO to make 6 figures in recurring revenue. And that means that it is recurring and it's not through hashtag sponsored brand campaigns. And then lastly, we'll save time for Q&A at the end. I also want to be sure to note that if you stay on for the entire workshop, you will get a link to a free gift that is my secret sauce. It is the exact checklist that I use when I'm optimizing a post, and it has all 23 different things that I do listed there. And so I'm going to give that to you for you to use. And if 23 steps to optimize a post sounds overwhelming to you, don't worry. Some of these things take legit 10 seconds to do. You just have to do them all in order to really nail your SEO. So be sure to stay on for the entirety of the workshop in order to get this hot little checklist. So before we get into the why, I want to make sure we're all on the same page as far as the what. What is SEO? Because as we saw from the responses in the chat, SEO can seem super confusing or complex, and you might be feeling like this lady when you hear the term. I love this GIF, by the way. I fired it off to my husband all the time when he's like not making sense. I just shoot that one over to him. But anyways, let me break it down for you. Search engine optimization, SEO, is the steps that you take to help a website or a piece of content, like a blog post, rank higher on Google. So for example, I have a skincare post about the top 10 best Korean serums. And when someone types best Korean serums into Google, my post is on that first page of search results. So that's not so bad, not so hard to understand. The part where people get confused is what are those specific steps that you take to make that happen, which you are going to learn today. So we're going to walk through that. And maybe in the past, when you've heard people talk about SEO, they've used a bunch of different confusing buzzwords. I want you to ignore all that noise, because once you have someone break it down for you step by step, it really just becomes a checklist and like a guiding strategy that you keep in mind whenever you're creating blog content, which, by the way, like I mentioned earlier, I'm literally going to give you that checklist. So why SEO? And so while the term SEO might not sound super sexy to people at first, the money in my bank account that SEO makes me while I sleep, very sexy. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but when I finally cracked the code on SEO after a couple of years of trying different strategies, now when I publish blog posts, I feel like I'm basically printing money because it ranks on Google and it continues to make money forever. So take this workshop as your license to print your own money. And it's also important to note that your website and your email newsletter are what you own. So type a 1 into the chat if you've ever felt personally victimized by Regina George, AKA the Instagram algorithm. Imagine how good it would feel to know that, yes, Instagram is going to keep changing and it's frustrating, but it doesn't actually affect your business or your bottom dollar because you have other passive revenue streams going on. The writing is on the wall for Pinterest too. My traffic from Pinterest is like a quarter of what it used to be, maybe even less. I was just speaking with an influencer agency the other day, and they said that it's the same for 90% of their clients too. SEO is targeted. So someone has a specific problem or question and they are searching for a solution. They type something into Google, your post, you pop up, the clouds part, the angels sing, you are the answer to their prayers. And that person is very engaged in your post because they are your exact right demographic. They're really likely to purchase from you or from your affiliate links. And then the cycle just starts all over again with the next reader. It's basically like fishing from a barrel rather than fishing from the ocean. So I want to give you a specific example. I have a post on my site about outdoor furniture that's been ranking on the first page of Google. And when people click on that post, they are really likely to buy using one of my affiliate links because they already know they want outdoor furniture. They just need some inspiration. And so this post has been ranking for a couple of years now, and it continues to bring me traffic and make me money through ads and affiliate links every single day. And that is so much more effective than me trying to post on Instagram stories every day. Like, check out this outdoor furniture post. Are you looking for some cute outdoor furniture? Here's a roundup of affordable outdoor furniture. Like, it just wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't convert. My followers would get super annoyed. And so this is just so much more scalable and effective. So for context, because you know I'm transparent about numbers and finances, this single post brought in $9,000 in recurring revenue for me over the last year. So 7,500 of that was from affiliate link revenue and 1,500 was from ads revenue. I'm on Mediavine. That's the platform that I use for ads. We'll talk a bit more about the different platforms later in this masterclass. So $9,000 over the last year from one post that took me maybe 3 hours to write one time. That is an insane hourly rate. So would you rather spend 3 hours shooting and editing an Instagram reel or a TikTok, perfecting all of those transitions that after a week is dead and it isn't being served up by the algorithm anymore? Or would you rather spend that time writing a blog post that continues to bring recurring revenue month over month, year over year, because it's coming up in Google search results? There is a very real short-term gratification that we all get from social media, all those likes and comments and yes queens. They give us those little dopamine hits and validation, but SEO has the real long-term value, which you can see in this example. And you all are here because you care about your businesses, and I'm going to give you some tough love here, but you need to think like a CEO. Like, if you're a content creator, an influencer, you have your business as your side hustle, whatever it is, like, you're not just an influencer or content creator, you are a business owner, and your time is so precious and limited. So you need to make strategic decisions about where you spend your limited time and what is going to produce the biggest impact for you and your business. So I want to share with you some of my traffic growth to kind of get you excited, because then we're going to start digging into the step-by-step pieces for SEO. But I think it's important to learn from someone who actually has done this and has the receipts, especially for something like SEO. There's a lot of conflicting advice online. And so following incorrect advice can actually damage your site. So at first I grabbed this screenshot from my Google Analytics, showing my monthly traffic from last month. And then I was like, you know what? If you're like me, you might feel like, is this screenshot even real? Like, at least that's the first thing that comes to mind for me when I'm listening to a webinar and they share traffic screenshots, because images can just be so easily manipulated. So I decided I'm just going to hop over to my Google Analytics dashboard live with you right now, just so there's no doubt. And then also so we can do some nice comparisons in the dash. So we're taking a look at August, and anytime you're doing comparisons of your traffic, you want to make sure that you are comparing the same month year over year, because things can be seasonal. So for example, I wouldn't want to compare like December of last year with August of this year, because during the holidays, like people are busy, they're not traveling as much. A lot of my content is travel. So let's take a look and compare. We're going to go back. Let's go back a couple years, because that's when I really started digging into my SEO strategies. So comparing August of this year versus August of 2020, like 32,000 page views compared to 225,000 page views. And if you're feeling overwhelmed with like all the different things you can look at in Google Analytics, let's focus on page views, sessions, and users. Because for me, that's what I'm like really focused on growing, because the more users, the more traffic on my site, the more I make from my ads revenue and from my affiliate links. So that is honestly, that's an insane amount of growth over 2 years. I've almost 7x'd it. And in the grand scheme of things, 1 year is a pretty short amount of time to create an entirely new revenue stream, 2 entirely new revenue streams for my ads and affiliate links. And 2 years is pretty quick to turn it into a 6-figure passive stream. And if you're wondering how often I blog, I aim to publish a couple posts a week, but I also don't beat myself up if I am too busy or traveling and I don't publish new content for sometimes weeks at a time. So if you're wondering if this growth only happened because I'm like chained to my desk writing blog posts all day, that's not true. I do a 4-day work week and I take Fridays off. And I also did a 2-month sabbatical, November and December of last year. So this growth has all been from SEO. So how are you guys doing? Do those numbers like get you excited about the possibilities of growing your own traffic and your own revenue? Let me know, type in the chat. And by the way, I spent $0 on this. So in case you're wondering, I was not running any ads on social or Google. This is all from organic traffic and SEO and what I'm going to teach you today. Jessica says, wow, that's amazing. Christy, very exciting. Char says, thanks for sharing your analytics. That really helps. Yeah, I'm so happy to. I really love to be transparent about numbers, because I have absolutely seen, SEO gurus or people teaching master classes. And like when I dig into their analytics using like SEMrush, I'm like, you're generating not very much traffic and you're teaching about SEO. This doesn't make sense. So I think it's super important to learn from people that have done it, and can show you the receipts. So I am going to let you on the best kept secret. If you haven't guessed it by now, it's SEO. And I want to talk about 3 super common myths that we're going to debunk today. And I think I mentioned this earlier, but these are myths that hold people back from really digging into SEO and thinking that they can learn it and use it. There are thousands of blogs and bloggers out there, and you would be surprised how few of them actually use SEO. Their blogs might look beautiful, their Instagram feed might look beautiful, but they may actually be struggling to meet their revenue goals. And so if we can debunk these myths together and start optimizing your content in the right way, you are going to be miles ahead of the pack, and you are going to stand out and skyrocket your traffic. So let's take a look at them. The first myth is you have to be technical or know how to code to do SEO. I don't know how to code. Plugins make that one-time tech setup easy. And you can take it from Jen, who is a fashion blogger and a stylist. She was also a student of mine for my SEO course. And she said Elise's instructions were super easy to follow, and she was able to install everything correctly by herself. The second myth is you don't have time to learn SEO. That is, I'm calling BS. You can literally learn it in a day. My course, I designed to be less than 5 hours long, and I have intentionally created it to be to the point, no fluffs. You could literally sit down and learn everything you need to about how to do SEO in a day if you wanted to. And I would also say that if you are feeling burnt out and stretched for time, SEO is the key to helping you take back your time and reduce content creation burnout by making your website a revenue generating asset. And I love this note from Kara. I've turned my blog into a passive revenue stream, and she's done it with hers, which is amazing to see. And the third myth is I'll never have a high traffic blog. So I want to just scratch out those limiting beliefs. I'll be honest, I used to think the same thing, but with the right SEO strategy, it's absolutely possible for you too. And I love this quote from Angela Lanter. Maybe some of you follow her on Instagram. She's a really large following over there. But she said that in the past, learning SEO felt so unattainable for me. Elise encouraged me and made me realize that it was something I could actually do. I actually understand SEO now. And we're going to be using Angela as a kind of case study throughout the workshop because she's just such a great example of like an A+ student. She's a fashion lifestyle blogger. She's been at this game for a while. Like I said, hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram, but she was really intimidated by the idea of trying to learn SEO. But by following the steps in my course, she was able to really quickly learn it and start implementing it. So I would love to know, is this resonating? Type in the chat. Have you ever believed one of these myths before, either in the past or maybe up until this very point, until this very moment? I know for me, I used to believe all three of these myths, like maybe 5 years ago. So let's see what people have to say. Inbal says all of them so time consuming. Cherise says technical. Amanda says absolutely all of them. Yep. You're not alone. These are super, super common. And I just kind of wanted to clear those out because, like Tyler says, it's conditioning. And like, I will be honest, a lot of these myths are beliefs that I see a lot of women holding to be true. Like I have to be technical. I can never have, a high traffic site. And they're total BS. So I wanted to get those out of the way before we start diving in more. So let's talk about the top 3 mistakes that I see people making around SEO and what holds them back from hitting their traffic and revenue goals. So the first one is just continuing to churn out and create content without learning SEO. So the best time to learn SEO is when you first start blogging. The second best time is now. So if you're going to continue creating content for your blog, you might as well take a day to truly learn SEO so you can turn those posts into recurring revenue. Like I know how it feels to spend hours, even days working on blog posts, in-depth travel guides, rounding up affiliate links, only to feel like, is this thing on? And when I think back to the 7 years that I spent blogging before learning SEO, I want to cry over all of that lost recurring revenue. So learn from my mistake. The second big mistake I see bloggers making and content creators making is thinking that the Yoast plugin on WordPress is SEO and that's all the optimization that you need. It's a piece of the puzzle. It's a tool that you can use that helps, but there are so many other things that go into proper SEO. The third mistake is not strategically monetizing your website with what I call the SLAP framework and missing out on thousands of dollars in monthly revenue, which don't worry, I'm going to share this framework with you in the workshop. And this is the framework that I've used to generate over $8,000 a month in passive revenue. So let me know, are you making any of these mistakes? Type in the chat, let me know which ones. And by the way, no shame, as I've shared, I for sure was making all 3 of these mistakes years ago. Amanda says number 1, and don't worry, y'all, we are going to fix all of them today. And 3. Soretta says 2 and 3. Char says, yes, I've been blogging for a year without SEO. Okay, that's not as bad as me blogging for 7 years without SEO. Jessica says, I thought I was rocking it on Yoast. Okay, love it. We are gonna dive into SEO and the anatomy of a high ranking post. So as we get into these 3 steps to SEO success, I'm going to show you an example post as kind of a case study, and we'll use it to go through the anatomy of what goes into a high ranking post using this example. So when you type best pasta in Rome into Google, my blog post is the first result on that search page. And this is not an accident. This is because of the strategy, the keyword research, and the content optimization that I did when I created this post. And I wrote this post back in 2019. So since then, it's been driving thousands of visitors a week. I'm making revenue from the ads that are on it. I'm making revenue from these affiliate links. So I have some Get Your Guide affiliate links in there, because if you're searching for the best pasta in Rome, chances are you're also planning a trip to Rome. And so you're going to want to book the Vatican and the Colosseum and all that good stuff. So to teach you my SEO tips, we're going to use this post as an example so you can see exactly what goes into creating a high ranking blog post and those hashtag revenue generating activities. So let's get into these 3 steps to SEO success. The first one is that tech setup. So I want you to take a screenshot of this slide so you can reference it later and walk away knowing exactly what you need to implement after today's call, because there's no way I'm going to go through and like show you exactly where to add these plugins and tools for Yoast and Grammarly in a 1-hour workshop, because it would just take the whole time. And I want to get into some of the juicier SEO strategies. Plus my SEO course goes through all of that and walks students through it step by step with video tutorials if you would like to have that kind of like step by step instruction. So take a screenshot. If this looks like a long list, don't worry. Some of these take legit 60 seconds to set up, and you just set it up once and you're good to go. So just know that the plugins and step-by-step tutorials make it easy, and you can literally set it up in an afternoon. So here's what Katie, one of my students, had to say about it. She said, using Elise's tips for tech setup made it so straightforward. We love to see it. So we'll assume you've got your tech set up. That includes things like your Google Analytics, your site XML map, Google Search Console, which is different than Google Analytics and actually gives you more valuable and like juicier information for SEO purposes. And the beautiful thing about this is, like I said, the tech is one and done. So you set it up and you never have to worry about it again. Step number 2 is keyword research. So first of all, what is a keyword? A keyword, or a key phrase, because they're interchangeable, is the words or the phrases that people are typing into Google, also called search queries. And so some examples could be things to do in Scottsdale, anthropology mirror dupes, best carry-on luggage for women, Portland bachelorette party ideas. You get the idea. It's really infinite, and you want to be targeting a different keyword for every post that you write. And the goal is that through optimizing your content and targeting that keyword, when people search for that in Google, your post pops up right on that first page, driving traffic to your site. So the number one biggest mistake I see people making when it comes to keywords is targeting the wrong keywords. So either targeting a keyword that is too broad, there's too much competition, and they're just too difficult to rank for, or getting so specific with your targeted keyword that there's actually no search volume behind it. So even if you do rank for that keyword, there are 0 people a month searching for it. And so that doesn't do you any good either. So not doing keyword research and just kind of like plucking a keyword out of thin air is not going to help you with your SEO game. And once I understood how to research and find good keywords that I could actually rank for, that's when everything really clicked for me and fell into place. And I was able to start driving real traffic through SEO. And so you're probably wondering, how do I know what a good keyword is? What if I told you there's a magic button you can press and it'll literally tell you everything you need to know so you can quickly and easily find keywords you can actually rank for? Such a thing exists. It is called Key Search, and we're going to jump into it live in the dashboard so you can see it. So I'm going to stick with this best pasta in Rome example. And this dashboard might look complicated, but I promise it's not once you know exactly what to hone in on and look at. So we are just going to look at the search volume here, where ideally we want to see a high search volume. A lot of people, searching for this term. And the difficulty score here, where ideally we want to see scores that are easy and green. And so when I first sat down to write this Best Pasta in Rome post years ago, I'm sure that my original idea was best restaurants in Rome. And so I would have typed that in and taken a look at the data. So the volume here is super high. It's going to depend on your niche, what is considered like high volume. But for me, anything that's like a few hundred or more is great. So 5,400, that's a really high search volume. Now the difficulty score, not so great. It's red, it's 54, it's a highly competitive keyword. So even if I do all of the right optimizations, I follow my checklist for best restaurants in Rome, I'm probably not going to rank for it because the difficulty score, the competition is so high. And so what I would do from there is I would continue looking for an alternative keyword that still gets to the topic that I'm trying to write about, but has a lower and easier competition score. And so that's probably how I found that best pasta in Rome keyword. So still has a great search volume. 2,900 people a month are searching for it, but it's green. It's beautiful and green and easy to rank for. So that's how I selected that for my keyword. You can continue, looking through and seeing what other posts you could write, like best restaurants in Trastevere. That is a really decent search volume and a nice low difficulty score. So we actually stayed in that neighborhood when we were in Rome. So if I wanted to do another post that was like a roundup of best restaurants in Trastevere, I'm pretty confident I could rank for that one. This is a great one, but Michelin star restaurants Rome, I'm going to save that keyword for later and write a post about that because that is a fabulous keyword. 1,300 search volume and a nice green difficulty score. So that is how I search around and find a good keyword that I can actually rank for. And so going back to our case study with Angela, she was really overwhelmed by the idea of keyword research before taking my course, and not trying to be dramatic, but looking at data really freaked her out. And so I just want you to know that even though data and keyword research used to feel overwhelming for her, after she took my course, she said, I actually understand how to do keyword research now. And I see it. I check in on her blog, I look at her blog posts and I'm like, yes, you are targeting some really solid keywords here. And like I said, keyword research was one of the key things that once that clicked for me, it was all traffic growth from there. So I was really excited to hear that Angela was like, oh, I get this now. So is this making sense? Type in the chat, let me know. I saw Amanda said, wow, this is amazing. Involve said incredible. Stacy says, wow, wow, wow. Okay, Barbara, yes, awesome. Okay, awesome. Really the keyword research was that is the thing that blew my mind. So I'm glad that it's been really helpful for you all so far. Yes, like a light bulb. So to recap what we've covered so far, we've got the tech setup checklist. You've got a list of everything you need to set up from a tech perspective. We've covered keywords. What is a keyword? How does it work? How do you research and find the right keywords for a blog post? And then the third step to SEO success is going to be that in-content optimization. So let me take a sip of water before we get into that. All right. So once you have found and researched and identified a really solid keyword, now it's time to go in and optimize your post and your content to target that keyword. So I am going to show you guys my SEO checklist. I will drop that link into the chat towards the end of our masterclass, but I just want to give you a preview of this free gift that I mentioned. And I'm not even kidding you guys, this is exactly what I use to optimize my posts. So I want to make sure that we dig into this example post so that you know how to use it. And if it feels overwhelming that there's 20 something things on this checklist, some of them are really easy and take a split second to do. Some of them are quick shifts like research your keyword before plucking a keyword out of thin air. But all of them need to be done in order to really optimize. And you might be doing some of the things already in this checklist, but I promise some of them are going to blow your mind. Like, did you know that you not only want to incorporate your keyword several times in your post, but there's also related long tail keywords that you can easily find with that magical tool key search that I showed you. And including those related keywords as well will also help increase your chances of ranking higher. Yeah, I didn't know that either until I properly learned SEO. So let's take a look at this post and again, use it as an example. So you'll see the keyword was best pasta in Rome, and you'll see that I have it in the title, I have it in the URL, I have it sprinkled throughout the blog post. I included it in an H2 here. I also, when I edited and exported these images, I saved the file names to match the keyword, but with dashes in between it. So it would be best dash pasta dash in Rome. And that way Google can really easily read it. Another hot tip is interlinking your related content. So I'm linking all my other Rome posts in here. So that way Google sees that and is like, oh, dang, she's got a lot of Rome content. Like, she is clearly an expert on Rome. We should rank her Rome posts higher. Okay. And by the way, if you are feeling like, I don't know if I can do all this, check out this slide. 100% of my students said that they felt confident optimizing their content for SEO after I taught them how. So if you are feeling like, I don't know if I can do this, I have seen that time and time again. A lot of my students, probably all of my students, have felt the same way before taking my course. And so I would actually be surprised if you didn't feel like this. And the reason I want to share this stat with you is so that you know that you absolutely can do it too. None of my previous students were techie. I don't think they would mind me saying that. They would be the first to admit it. They were fashion bloggers, interior designers, photographers, content creators who didn't know much about SEO before taking the course. They just knew that they wanted to leverage the power of it and have someone show them how. So if they can do it, you absolutely can too. So your tech is set up. You know how to do keyword research and optimize your content. You're going to use that checklist to plug that keyword into all the right places. Now for my favorite part, money. And let's be honest, it's probably why you're here, because you want to not only have more traffic on your site, but to generate revenue from the blog posts that you write, and in a way that's passive. So it's recurring month over month, year over year. So before we get into monetization, I need to know you guys are still with me. So type in the chat, drop a $ in the chat. Let's claim it. Let me know if you're still with me and if you are excited for this part. Each and every day, all of the $. Love it. Okay, this is the step that I know, and Cheddar, that I know the majority of you are here for. It's the money, it's securing the bag. It's the reason that I'm able to have the lifestyle that I want, travel as much as I want, donate to causes that are important to me. And that's what I want for you too, whatever your vision is. Okay, I'm loving that you are making it rain in the chat. So I have tested everything under the sun in terms of how to monetize my website. And so I've seen what works and what doesn't. And I've crafted what I call my SLAP framework that will not only make it easy for you, but will also help you take your new traffic from SEO and convert it into 6 figures in revenue. You know, when people say this shit slaps, this shit slaps. So let's get into the S. S is for sales. By implementing this framework, you'll be able to generate more sales on your site, whether it is a digital product that you sell, like an e-cookbook. For me, it's my Lightroom presets. Maybe you sell a physical product, and you'll be able to easily generate those sales because you're getting so much new targeted traffic that is your exact right demographic right onto your website. The L is for lead generation. So if you are a service-based business, maybe you are an interior designer, a photographer, you own a PR agency, or a social media management agency. This new targeted traffic flowing to your site is all new leads for you and for potential new clients. And even if you don't have a service-based part of your business, adding to your email list is gold. That is never a bad thing, to be building your email list. And again, it's like this nice snowball effect of like, you have this new traffic, you are capturing some of them through your email, you're continuing to keep in touch with them and driving them back to your website. The two A's we will talk about together because they are kind of like a really sweet double dip. And so it's affiliate links and ads revenue. And an example of a really nice double dip post would be like a product review style post. So maybe it's like an honest Rothy's review post. And I write all about the sizing, the fit, how comfortable it is, the styles, that type of thing. On that post, you're earning ads revenue from the impressions and affiliate revenue when people purchase from your post. And because it's showing up for people that are specifically interested in buying Rothy's, they're like typing into Google Rothy's review, Rothy's sizing info. They just kind of want to hear like from a trusted source, is it worth the investment? Are they comfortable? And then they're going to make that purchase. And so your conversion rate is going to be so much higher than, again, like the example earlier in this webinar, trying to post on my stories every single day about Rothy's. And then the P is for partnerships. I hear a lot of bloggers complain that brands aren't interested in doing sponsored blog posts with them, but when I ask what their traffic is, it's pretty low. So once you're hitting 50K, 100K and above in monthly traffic, brands will take notice of that in your media kit, and they will be begging to pay you thousands of dollars for a blog post. I've also gotten paid speaking engagements, press trips with tourism boards, all from people finding me through SEO or from brands noticing my website traffic in my media kit. And I know at this point you might be wanting to see some receipts. I get it. I would too. So here are my two A's from the SLAP framework. So we've got affiliate revenue on the left from Reward Style, where now it's called Like to Know It or LTK, but I feel like anyone who's been a fashion blogger for a while, we will always know it as Reward Style. And then we have my ads revenue on the right. So in total, I'm looking at over $8,500 a month in passive revenue. So multiply that by 12. That's over 100K for the year. And again, this is the passive revenue from the SLAP framework. So I could take the rest of the year off and my blog would still generate this income for me. And that is such a great feeling. And a quick note on ads revenue, because this was a mental roadblock that I had in the past. I didn't think I wanted ads on my site because I was like, they're not aesthetic. And then a friend of mine was like, you know that you're missing out on thousands of dollars a month by not having ads on your site, right? And I was like, oh, I do want ads on my site. I think in the past, I had only had experience with like Google ads, which pays pennies. So I had no idea that having ads on my site could actually be worth it. But once I realized that and was like, oh, I do want ads on my site, and started experimenting with that, it's been a game changer and a completely new revenue stream for me. And so the only two ad platforms I recommend are Mediavine and AdThrive. They pay the best, they have great support, they partner with Google to make sure that everything that they do and the ads that they're serving up and the way that they do it all comply with Google's, rules around ads. And the threshold to apply for Mediavine is 50,000 monthly sessions and 100K for AdThrive. If you're not there yet, don't worry. SEO can help you hit those traffic goals. And if you are there, SEO can help grow your traffic, which grows your ads revenue. Amanda says, my best friend's husband owns Mediavine, so I'm going to call. Is it Eric? That's amazing. You've gotten in. Nice. Yeah, Eric's incredible. They honestly provide so much amazing support and like resources for their publishers. And so even though I've surpassed that 100,000 mark and could qualify for AdThrive, I'm sticking with Mediavine because I love their support and I think that they're brilliant. So growing your ads revenue through traffic, like it's done for our girl, Angela. She said, Elise taught me how to properly monetize posts, so my blog became a form of passive income for me. Since taking her course, I've seen an increase in earnings from ads on my site. So not only have I done this for myself, but I'm teaching others how to do it too, which is really what gets me pumped because that's what it's all about, making more money and doing it in a way that is passive. Okay, we did it. We went through a lot. So to recap, we talked about the 3 biggest mistakes people make with SEO. We got into the 4 steps to SEO success. So we got into the super simple text setup. You have that list now. We covered keyword research. You know exactly how to find a keyword that you can actually rank for. We got into optimization, and you're going to get that checklist as well, so you know exactly what to do with that keyword once you have found it. And we got into monetization and the best ways to monetize this new traffic from SEO. And I also said that I would change your perspective on SEO. So type in the chat, let me know, did I keep my promise? I hope so. And what has been your biggest takeaway so far from today's masterclass? Let me know. And while people are typing, I just want to say that I hope your biggest takeaway is that you can do this. Don't stand in your own way. You absolutely can. Inval says keyword research for sure. Stacy says, yes, that was amazing. The keyword research site is gold. Yeah, it is. So I'm telling you, a game changer. Tyler says the simplicity and empowerment. Yes, I love that. Barbara, it's a can do. Absolutely. Amanda, yes, it was amazing. Keyword research. Yes. Okay. This is great. I'm so happy to hear that. That makes me super excited. And I know that you all can do this because I have worked with content creators and service providers just like you, and I have seen the results. 100% of my students saw an increase in traffic from SEO 3 months after taking my course and implementing the strategies that I teach in it. So where do we go from here? At this point, there are 2 options for where we can go, and both of them will work. There is path number 1, you do it yourself. Maybe if you are a bit more advanced and you just needed this webinar as a reminder that like SEO is important, this could work for you. Or path number 2 is do this, but with step-by-step guidance and support, and have me hold your hand each step of the way to skyrocket your traffic. If you're one of those people who's like, I know I can do this, I have the passion, but Elise, I just need you to walk me through it, so I'm not spinning my wheels, wasting time Googling stuff, trying to figure out what's the next right step, then path number 2 is for you. Think of path number 2 as a paint by numbers guide. I am decidedly not artistic, but even I can make a masterpiece if it is paint by numbers. And that's exactly what path number 2 is. I will show you exactly what to do, in what order, the how and the why, step by step, and be there for you every step of the way. So I would love to know who is interested in path number 2. Type into the chat if you are in and you want that step-by-step support. Stacy says, is there a path 3 where you update all our posts? So here's the thing about that. And I actually teach this in my course. I have experimented with like updating old posts for SEO, and it did not bring me the same ROI and traffic that creating new posts once I had learned SEO brought me. So I spent like a year, myself and my content manager, kind of like going in and updating old posts and seeing and tracking the numbers. And my traffic really skyrocketed when I just was like, okay, the old posts are done. I'm just going to focus on creating new content with SEO in mind. And so that is something that I talk about in the course as well. Okay, so we've got Jessica's interested in path 2, Tyler, Amanda, Taylor, Soretta. Yeah, awesome. Okay, I'm so excited that you all are interested in hearing more, and I am thrilled for the people that are interested in path 2 to offer this opportunity for extra support and to invite you into my flagship program, 6-Figure SEO. And so I have spent the last half a year putting my blood, sweat, and tears, not literally, but like pretty close, into gathering up all of my top tips and strategies for you in an easily digestible course. And everything is based on my years of experience trying these strategies for myself. Like I just mentioned, does going back and updating old posts work? like what's the best ROI, looking at the data, and then helping coach other students to implement these strategies on their own sites. And so all of the information you could possibly need to make six figures from SEO has been put into this course. This course has been my baby. And so here's an overview of what you can expect to find inside the program. There are 24 actionable and bite-sized videos with 4 premium course modules focused on number 1, a step-by-step guide walking you through that tech setup. So you can set it up once and forget it and literally get it done in an afternoon. Number 2, keyword research and diving even more into the strategies behind how to find the right keywords that are like a gold mine for you. Number 3, the ins and outs of content optimization. So you know exactly what to do and how to do it. And number 4, monetization strategies. So you can take that new boosted traffic and turn it into money in your bank account. So type in the chat, let me know, is this interesting to you? Is this something you want to learn how to do? And by the way, I designed this course to be no fluff and to the point, because I know you're busy and so am I. My love language is efficiency. So you could literally block off a day, go through the 5 hours of my content and learn everything you need to know about SEO and start implementing it in the very next day. So by the end of this course, you will have my proven 4-step framework that will allow you to leverage the blog content you're already creating and turn it into a consistent stream of revenue each month. You'll have more time freedom, less overwhelm and stress, and the ability to create passive revenue through SEO. So you can kiss that content creation burnout goodbye. So the course is really all of the concepts that I've shared in today's webinar and then some, but in so much more depth. It is a step-by-step guide on how to turn your blog into a 6-figure passive revenue generator, so that this can be you and how you sleep at night, knowing that SEO is driving traffic to your blog and making you money. Because to me, that is what it's all about, creating a business that supports my greater vision for my life and how I want to feel. And that's really what gets me excited when I can help other people do the same. So I'd love to share a couple of case studies from founding member students who have been through 6-figure SEO. First up is Hunter Primo. You might follow her on Instagram. She's an amazing fashion blogger. Hunter was able to increase her Google traffic by 64%. I know that one of her goals is to meet that minimum threshold to be able to apply for Mediavine to run ads on her site. She is well on her way there. And once she's able to get on there, she's going to open up an entirely new recurring revenue stream for herself. And I am so excited for her. Next up, we have Angela. She was able to increase her traffic from Google by 12% in just 3 months, leading her to increasing her passive revenue streams and making more money from ads on her site. So she was already on Mediavine when she joined 6-figure SEO. And this just means that now she's earning even more money from it. And of course, we have my own personal story, from barely a few $1,000s a year from my blog to over $100,000 in revenue just from my blog traffic. So at this point, you're probably wondering what the investment is. And what I want to say is this course pays for itself. And here are a couple different examples of how it does that. If you're planning on monetizing your blog with ads and affiliate links, you can easily make over $1,000 a week, and the course has paid for itself. And then you're just continuing to make that recurring revenue over and over and continuing to grow it with these strategies. Or if you are a service provider, let's say you're a photographer, maybe you own a social media management agency, learning SEO is going to help you land new clients. And I'm teaching the exact steps and SEO strategies I've used to turn my blog into a 6-figure recurring revenue stream. So you can do the same. Now, the full price of the program is $1,500. And while the price is 100% worth it with the ROI you get on this, it makes it a no-brainer. But I want to do a very special limited offer and exclusive bonus just for the live audience today. And I also want to let you know what you'll find in the bonus section of the course, because there's some really juicy bonuses in there. So the first bonus, this one alone is super exciting, but the first one is a bunch of swipe files and templates that you can use for your business. And that includes a media kit template, a pitch and negotiation email template and verbiage. And these are what I've used to land over $250,000 in brand campaigns last year. And this bonus also includes my influencer contract template. So you can take it, make a copy use it as your own, as well as the exact time management template that I use to manage my own day. So this bonus section of templates alone is a $400 value. And then I have another bonus module that is all about my best Photoshop and Lightroom editing tips, because your imagery is also super important. And when you're applying to ad platforms like Mediavine and AdThrive, they're not just looking at your traffic, they're also looking for image quality when they're evaluating your site. Plus, who doesn't love having an aesthetic feed? So this one is a $100 value. We have another bonus section that includes discounts on all my favorite SEO and website tools and platforms like key search, additional resources, and that is a $500 value. Plus, you are also getting exclusive access to the behind the scenes of my top performing blog posts that drive the most money and traffic. So like the affordable outdoor furniture post, we dig into other posts that are performing at a really high level so that you can get these rare insights that you can incorporate into your own content. And I actually have one more bonus. Since you might have questions along the way, this is something I don't normally do, but with Six Figure SEO, you get access to 3 months of live monthly group coaching with me. And I don't do group coaching outside of this program, but I'm excited to offer this level of support to my Six Figure SEO students. And this one is a $1,500 value. So just the value of the bonuses is $2,600. And if you look at everything that you're getting today, you get the course, which is a $1,500 value. You get $2,600 worth of bonuses, bringing the total value for all of this, if you were to just flat out pay for it, to $4,100. But I mentioned that I had a magic offer outside of just the bonuses. And so I'm making the program available for $997. There's also a payment plan available, so I'm excited to be able to offer that to you. And I also want to note that 100% of students said that this course was worth the investment. And so the fact that every student who has gone through this course has said it's worth the investment just gives me so much confidence that you will get incredible value out of it too, that we're able to offer a 30-day money back guarantee. So in the unlikely instance that you decide this course is not for you and you've watched no more than 2 course videos, we will provide you with a full refund within 30 days of your purchase. And I have one more surprise up my sleeve for you today, because you showed up live, you carved out time, and I know how precious that is, and you're still here with us. I have a special fast action bonus just for those of you that are live and join Six Figure SEO before the end of the session here today. So this is only for those of you who are live, because I want to thank you for carving out that time to be here. So if you're watching the replay later, I'm so sorry, but this particular offer doesn't apply. But if you purchase before we wrap up the webinar, you are also going to receive my What the Fab presets. It's a $75 value. It's the exact 7 mobile desktop presets that I use to edit my photos and have a cohesive brand and feel. And I'm also doing an additional $100 off for you for everyone that's live on the webinar and joins the program before we end, bringing the total investment to $897. You are not going to see this pricing again outside of the webinar. We don't do sales for this amount. So you are going to need to act now in order to take advantage of that special price. I'm going to drop the link in the chat so you can easily access it. And we do have that payment plan available. We do have our ironclad 30-day money back guarantee. And okay, I know I said I had one more surprise, but now I really have one more surprise. For the first 10 people who sign up, I'm offering 4 weeks of one-on-one support with me via audio message in our DMs. So whether you have a specific question or you just need some accountability, I've got you. I want to make sure that you're never feeling stuck and you're on the fast track to those new revenue streams. So if you need help choosing a keyword, I've got you. You want me to take a look at a post you've written and give you SEO feedback? Totally, I'm there. Or if you just want feedback on other parts of your business, like your rates, are you charging enough? Your pitch, your media kit, literally, you can ask me anything. I'm a very open book. I think you probably have seen that by now. I am super transparent and I really just love when I'm able to offer this kind of support to students. I get weekly requests from people to pick my brain. And while I wish I had enough hours in the day to set up virtual coffee chats with everyone who reaches out to me, it's just not possible. But this one-on-one audio message support is your opportunity to pick my brain. So I've capped this for the first 10 people who sign up because I have as many hours in the day as you do. My time is limited, but I want to offer this to those of you that know that this is for you and that you want to grow your revenue in this way and using SEO. So to help you decide if this course is right for you, I want to share who six-figure SEO is for and who it is not for. And I'm sharing this because I only want people who are going to be successful in the program to join versus having as many people as possible in the program. And there's a reason that I have such great feedback on this course, and I can share stats like 100% of students said the course was worth it, and 100% of students saw traffic growth. It's because I only let in people who are the right fit, and I want to keep my stats at that 100 mark. So this course is perfect for you if you're a content creator, business owner, or service provider who wants to add passive revenue streams to your business. If you're willing to take a day to do the work, learn the ins and outs of SEO with me, holding your hand every step of the way. It's the right fit for you if you want to make money creating content about things that you love, which is going to help you stay consistent. And if you're an entrepreneur who wants to expand your business via traffic to your website. You should not join this course, and I may even refund you if you want a quick fix or to have someone else do all of the work for you, potentially incorrectly or hurting your site. I have seen this a lot where bloggers want to write their content and then like farm out the SEO work and hire someone else to do it. And it just doesn't make sense from an efficiency standpoint. You're just throwing money out the window when you could be just optimizing your content as you write it. And also, if you don't understand SEO, you don't even know if the person you're hiring is doing a good job or not. And here's a tip, a lot of them are not. So while you truly can learn SEO in a day, it's the consistency afterwards that matters, but you can do it if you follow the process. This course is not for you if you are a dabbler and you just kind of want to like try something new for a week or two and then move on to something else, because again, you'll need to stick with it to see the results that you want. It's not for you if you hate writing or blogging. This might sound obvious, but I have had people tell me they want to do what I do and be a travel blogger, but then they tell me they don't like blogging. If you don't enjoy creating content, it's going to be really hard to stick with these SEO strategies. And then lastly, it's not the right fit if you have a fixed mindset. If you don't have a growth mindset, you won't be receptive to learning these new ways of creating passive revenue and abundance for yourself. So when you join Six-Figure SEO, not only are you gaining instant access to the course modules that will teach you everything you need to know about SEO and monetizing your site through it, you'll also be gaining access to those $2,600 worth of bonus content. The first 10 people that sign up will receive that weekly one-on-one support with me via audio message in our DMs for 4 weeks. We do have our payment plan available when you click over onto the offer page that I dropped in the chat, and we have that 30-day money back guarantee. So let me know, how is this sounding? Type in the chat if you are taking advantage of any of these live bonuses, starting your SEO journey with me. If you have any questions, I want to personally welcome you and make sure that you get those live bonuses if you are joining. Oh, you are so welcome, Inbal. I had so much fun. You all were so engaged and asked amazing questions. I'm going to drop in the chat the checklist as well, because I want to make sure that you have that. So that is the SEO checklist. And you can make a copy of it, use it on your own. And then I'm also going to scroll through.
I took a few notes of the questions.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. I was like, the chat was like popping off, so I'm going to have to really scroll through.
Yeah, there were only like 3 main ones. So I'll say who said it. I'll ask the question if they want to chime in with any follow-up questions. But Stacy asked first, she's heard that there's a minimum word count that's like worth it to write a blog post between like 800 and 1,000 words. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so Google denies that that is true, but like I disagree. I think that like you want to be targeting it at least like 500, 800. And one of the things in the checklist that you all have now is how to check for a target word count. So Key Search has another tool within it that helps identify like, okay, the top posts on the first page of Google right now for this keyword all have, 1,000 words or 2,000 words or 800 words, like they kind of average it out. So that is how I target how many, what I want my word count to be. So Google denies it, but I don't believe them.
And then I think I'm pronouncing her name correctly, Cheris. She was talking about how she's heard that you have to have a minimum number of subscribers to have affiliate links.
No, that's not something that I have heard of. Usually, I mean, it could depending on like which affiliate platform you're applying to. There's so many out there, and the right ones for you will depend on your niche. For LTK or reward style, I joined them so long ago, the application process could be different, but they didn't ask for like any numbers. They just kind of like took a look at my different channels and platforms. And then for my more travel related affiliate programs like Get Your Guide, booking.com, Expedia and Vrbo, I don't think that they really, as long as like you're generating links or generating clicks, that's really what they are looking for. So it'll depend on like each affiliate program, but if they do have some kind of minimum requirement, I'm sure that they would like communicate that in their application. But I mean, I would start like, today, like even if you feel like you don't have enough followers or subscribers, because it's only going to continue to grow and you want to have those links already in place.
I will add something to that. So many businesses like Minded Collective has an affiliate program too. And so many businesses love working with influencers who are just starting out and really engaged. So my suggestion would be, you don't have to go necessarily through affiliate platforms either. Like you can reach directly to the business. So create like a list of brands or businesses that you would love to work with and just reach out to them. And that could be something that you offer in one of your bonuses, like the email template to reach out to brands and businesses. So I would just suggest reaching out directly and just being really personable. Amanda asked, you talk a lot about WordPress, but what if people have blogs through different platforms like Wix or Squarespace?
Yeah, so in the course, I covered this pretty in depth, but if you are going to try to have SEO be like your main, a big strategy for you in driving traffic, you probably want to be on either WordPress or Squarespace. There's a lot of debate online of like, is Squarespace inferior to WordPress when it comes to SEO? And you're going to find conflicting answers if you Google that. There is a correlation between the amount of websites that are on Squarespace and how frequently they rank on the first page of Google. WordPress sites tend to rank more. However, a lot of articles will take that and be like, well, that means that WordPress is better for SEO. But that is correlation without causation. So my theory is that if somebody is using Squarespace, they are probably a little bit less like technically inclined than somebody using WordPress, because Squarespace is a little bit more like, plug and play, which would lead me to believe that probably more people using Squarespace are not as familiar with SEO strategies. And so that's why WordPress tends to have more frequently ranked websites, because when you look at the back end of WordPress and Squarespace, they have the same functionalities. Like you can do all of the things that are in that SEO checklist for optimization within Squarespace as well. I've seen a lot of different websites, and some of them I can't even like remember the names of the CMS where it's like, more drag and drop, but like Wix and Format, and those ones tend to be a little bit less helpful, because you're going to run up against limitations of like things that you want to do to optimize for SEO that you just can't do with a more like simple CMS backend.
Okay, awesome. That was really insightful. Also, if anybody needs a connection to a developer who can create a WordPress website for you, let me know, because my developer has that squared away. So Barbara asked, is your course only for blogs or is it for e-commerce websites as well?
So if you have an e-commerce website and you are creating content, so like somebody mentioned they have a skincare line earlier. If you're creating content around that, you should be doing that in the form of a blog, because that is what's going to help you rank on Google. Like, you can absolutely optimize a static page and a website for SEO, but you're just doing that once, versus if you're creating fresh content in the form of a blog that is also tied to your website, that's giving you new opportunities and chances to rank on Google and drive traffic to those posts.
And then Amanda asked, the Google Doc is view only. Amanda, if you go to file and download, you can download it as an Excel sheet.
Yes, you can do that, or you can make a copy. I think it's probably this under the same drop down, like file, make a copy, if you want to use it in Google Drive.
Cool. Thank you so much, Elise. We have 15 minutes, so I'm going to stop the recording.